In this video, I'm going to show you how to rotate the pressure pads on your lid assembly for our velocity fryer here. Now the reason you might need to do that is over time, as the lid is used day in and day out, it can actually wear grooves into the replaceable Teflon pressure pads. Now what that'll eventually end up doing is we could see steam leaking out the side of our gasket around our lid here. So what I'm going to show you is how to rotate the pressure pads. This can be done one time before they actually need to be replaced. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to remove this lid cover to be able to gain access to those pressure pads. The tools that we need for this job are just a Phillips screwdriver and a 5/32 hex key wrench. We'll take that Phillips screwdriver and we will remove the 2 screws at the back of our lid cover here. I've already done that for time's sake, so I'll go ahead and pull this lid cover off and then we'll have access to our pressure pads. So as you can see, we have our pressure pads right here on both sides of the lid. Now as this unit is in its daily operation and this bar presses down on those pads, eventually it'll wear grooves into those pads. So what we can do is go ahead and get our bar out of the place. We're going to remove this Phillips screw on both of the pressure pads here. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now that we have those out of the way, we can take our 5/32 hex key wrench and we can go ahead and loosen these bolts that remain holding it down. We'll jump over here to the other side and we'll go ahead and loosen this one up. Now with both of these loosened up, when we talk about rotating these pads, what we want to make sure is we just lift up slightly because there is a dowel pin right here at the back. Now, when we say rotate, we are actually going to rotate them 180 degrees and set that right back on there. What we don't want to do is we do not want to flip them upside down. That is incorrect. As you can see, this is angled on both ends for a reason. So we can rotate them 180 degrees and put them right back in place, but we cannot flip them upside down. By doing this, this will get us extended life of our pressure pads before we actually need to replace them completely. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back in place. I'll go ahead and rotate this pressure pad, set it back on. I will get my bolt started here. But before I tighten these down, I want to go ahead and get my Phillips screws started to make sure that those are lined up and not cross-threaded. Get that started. Go ahead and get that started. And now I can proceed with running down my bolts and tightening them. So I'll run this down and then we are just going to snug it up by about 1/4 to 1/2 a turn. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So running this down and then going that 1/4 to 1/2 a turn should prevent us from stripping this head so that we don't have problems in the future. Now that I have both of those tight, I'm going to go ahead and snug up my Phillips screws here. So now that completes rotating our pressure pads and getting that tightened up, and we can go ahead and go back on with our lid cover and proceed with installing our 2 screws here at the back, and that completes rotating the pressure pads.